you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies on that.
This is where we disagree. What an insult to the working poor of this country.
So why do you think black people commit more crime,
Well, first
Charlie
of all,
Kirk?
so how...
You guys love these race baiter videos. It's some of your favorite. So, you know, I gathered up all of the race baiters. All of the master race baiters. Some might call the master baiters of race. And I found this one, okay? And I thought you guys might like this one because Charlie Kirk takes the master race baiter and puts him in the corner. Says, no more master race baiting for you. Guys, why am I laughing at this? I'm like high energy. Anyways, guys, I'm your host, Josiah David Moody with Resist the Mainstream. Please make sure you guys like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Now, Charlie Kirk, in a college, master race baiter. All right, let's watch.
So let me ask you a question. So in the CRT literature, what do they think of white people or whiteness?
Who would you like me to quote?
Kimberly Crenshaw.
I haven't read Kimberly Crenshaw
She says
yet.
that whiteness is a cancer or a toxin on our society.
Damn. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Leave a comment down below if you support and love me and don't think I'm cancer to the society, please. I need some affirmation from you guys.
The concept of whiteness, the racial concept of whiteness.
Okay, so what is whiteness?
What is whiteness?
Yeah, define it.
As Kimberly Crenshaw would probably say, the sort of construction of privilege that comes with being white in this country.
Right, so what privilege do you and I as white people have that black people don't have?
Yeah, great question. On applications that are blindly judged, white-sounding names are often given the job more, they're paid more.
Not true. In fact, it's the opposite. There's black privilege right now. It's called affirmative action, where underqualified blacks are taking Asians and white people's places in universities across the country. True or false?
True.
Okay, so yeah, there's black privilege, not white privilege in this country.
I actually don't think affirmative action is how we address education inequality.
Okay, well, that affirmative action is still largely supported by the CRT regime. But let's get back to CRT, to the essence of it.
Sure.
CRT believes in one manifestation of its ideology is black-only dormitories. So white people are not allowed. Do you believe in black-only dormitories?
No, and I don't have to agree with every aspect of an ideology to argue for it.
So then what part of CRT do you like? Because they call whiteness a toxin, black-only dormitories, and if you want to talk about like ideological or intellectual sloppiness, the 1619 Project was...
I think it's very sloppy.
Okay, we agree. Nicole Hannah-Jones.
I think it's overstated, and I think some of the parts are inaccurate.
Okay, good.
She's a quirky girl. She's not like those other woke. She's not like those other woke libbies. That's liberals like libbies. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna use that. She's not like those other woke libbies. She disagrees with the 1619 Project. She doesn't agree with everything with CRT. She's quirky. She's different. She's not your average.
The parts of CRT that I think are most relevant and, very factually, you can, what am I trying to say? There's a lot of evidence for them, is the fact that previous inequalities, such as the institution of slavery, such as our treatment of Native Americans, do in fact affect those populations today. And you were saying before, in inner cities, there's a lot more crime, and a lot of that is because of redlining and other practices that come directly from the mistreatment of minorities previously in this country.
So I want to make sure I understand. So black people make up 13% of the American population.
Oh, 1350, my favorite.
Yes, exactly. Why do they commit 55% of all the murders?
Super great question. It's basically a very complex intersection of race and economic status. It's pretty well known that minority people tend to be in a lower economic status because of discrimination that they face.
So then why don't poor Asians commit a lot of murders?
Also a great question. Asian people weren't originally brought to America on purpose like black people, and they weren't already present here like natives.
Wait, so blacks murder because they were brought here 250 years ago?
No, I would like to finish.
Okay, just answer. It's very simple. Black.
I am answering.
No, I know, but you're not really. You're
I
kinda,
am.
okay.
Asian Americans predominantly immigrate here for work reasons. They come from already wealthy countries. They're already wealthy when they get here. Crime is committed primarily
First
by
of all,
poorer
that's not
people.
true. Talk to anybody from who's Vietnamese? Anybody? Did your family come here wealthy?
No.
Yes
Not
and
wealthy,
no. Okay.
but not. I'm
Yes
not
or
saying
no?
they come
No.
here. Okay.
The average Vietnamese does not come here wealthy.
Yeah, you know why? Do you know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because Vietnam was communist. So when they escape communism that took literally everything from them and they come here, they have nothing. They literally have nothing. You know what they do have? Work ethic. And they grind and they work their butt off to get out of that low class. And I would be lying to you if I told you that black people can't do the same exact thing, because they can.
I'm not okay. I perhaps misspoke. Not wealthy, but a lot of the, you complain about it all the time. A lot of the immigration from countries that border us, right? It's sort of desperate people who are of a lower economic status, right? And they're coming here for a better life.
So two things. Number one, there's been more blacks that have legally immigrated to this country in the last 30 years than were ever brought as slaves. That's number one. Number two, you still haven't answered the question.
I'm trying
But
to.
why?
It's a complicated answer.
Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
Okay, no, this is
CRT,
fine. This is great.
Basically,
So you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies
This is where
on
we
that.
disagree. What an insult to the working poor of
So
this
why
country.
do you think black people commit more
Well,
crime,
first
Charlie
of all,
Kirk?
so how? Let me ask you a question as
No,
my
answer.
Uh-oh. Charlie Kirk put on the spot. Why do you think that black people commit more crimes? What do you guys think his answer is? Drop a comment down below. Okay. It's going to be 1, fatherlessness. 2, culture, maybe? The culture of rap, hip hop, selling drugs. 3, race realism, which I doubt he takes that route. Yeah, I'm gonna say probably a mix of culture and fatherlessness, but I guess fatherlessness might be a part of the culture. All right, your time's up. If you haven't commented, then finish up. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So that's
Bing, 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 bing. We got a winner. Shout out to everybody who put fatherlessness. I'm going to go through and I'm going to read these comments. I'm going to like it. Shout out to you guys.
why you
80%
think
of
it is.
blacks do not have a stable father around. It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not a
you think that's
racism
a problem?
It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have
why-
impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community, and it
so
shouldn't
it's
be.
culture. Okay.
Don't take my
I
word
see.
for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book on how black culture allows single motherhood to continue into a nanny state type practice. 75% of black youth are raised without a father in the home. 75%. Is that a bigger problem or not a bigger problem than whiteness, white privilege, or white supremacy? How
They
can
should
you
all be
blame?
addressed in
Is
their
a
own-
white person to blame for the fact that 75% of blacks?
Oh, individual white people aren't at all to blame.
Okay, we agree.
Yeah.
So, but wouldn't it be more like smart to be like, hey, that this is not about systemic racism. Like, stop impregnating your women and abandoning them.
Well, the way to incentivize not impregnating women and abandoning them is increasing access to healthcare, into housing, into everything that we know increases
so we've
those
done
outcomes
that.
for people.
So we have spent $30 trillion on the social welfare system since 1965. Black people are poorer, and the single motherhood went from 25% to now 75 to 80%. So the more money we've spent on black America, the less fathers we have, because black women divorced black men and married the government.
And do you think that's a problem inherent to black people?
No, it's not. It's happening now in white communities and Hispanic communities. It's just the worst in black America.
And why do you think that is?
Why is it the worst in black America? There's also a cultural problem. There is, and we have to be honest about it.
It's just that black people are
No, let me ask you a question.
Like
The average music that a black person in Compton is listening to, is it about contemplating the good, the true, and the beautiful, or is it about being a gangbanger and trying to get as much money and sleep with about as many girls as you can?
I would actually like to think I would be offended by that.
Do you think the average black kid in Compton is listening to Beethoven or some sort of gangster rap music that glorifies gangster culture?
Silly question. Rap wasn't created to glorify gangster culture. So even though there is
okay,
rap,
I mean,
I'm sure that's doing that.
You're dodging the question because...
Okay, I'm sure they're listening to rap.
Okay.
So you think rap music makes them leave their mom?
Do you think the cultural expectation in black America is that you stay with the woman that you impregnate?
Within black communities? I can't speak on that.
Okay, the answer is no. It's not. It's not expected.
Okay, and do you think that is...
Hold on. In white Anglo-Saxon Protestant communities, it's a fact. Hold on. In upper middle class white communities...
Upper middle class. Say that part louder.
Yeah, upper middle class white Anglo-Saxon Protestant communities, if you impregnate a woman, you are looked down upon and we do not think highly of you if you abandon the woman that you impregnate. That's a cultural difference. Has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do with anything except norms. And the norms that have infected black America are destroying it from within. We need
morality, social norms around morality, white Anglo-Protestant communities. Why is that? Because what is wrong with you if you can't have a baby with a woman that you love and stay and raise that child? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. What is wrong with you? You can't, first of all, you messed up. You had sex before marriage. You got her pregnant. You messed up. Should have waited till marriage. Should have had self-control. Really loved her enough to have sex with her, which means to have a baby with her. That's what it should mean. Then you should have just married her and waited. And if you really loved her enough to have sex with her and produce with her, then you definitely, as soon as she got pregnant, had a shotgun marriage or something and gotten married to her. So what's not clicking here with you? That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. That's how we look at it. There's a difference there, cultural difference.
more fathers, not less. We need more dads around and less drag queen story hour. We need more young blacks to be able to look up to role models that are not leaving all the time and are not just saying, hey, I impregnated her, so be it. It's a toxin, and if we don't address that as the root cause, oh, it's white supremacy, it's injustice, it's economics, we're dancing around the core of the issue.
I guess what I'm saying is, right, and you've perfectly actually laid out the dichotomy here. It is a fact, obviously, that black people disproportionately commit crime in this country. No one's arguing that. But you either believe that that is due to a complex intersection of social, economic, and leftover effects from previous inequalities, or you believe that that is an inherent trait to the race.
No, I don't, because they weren't that way in the 1940s and.
So remember whenever I said race realism, I said I doubt he goes that route. That is what we're talking about here. Race realism, that's an inherent trait of black people. And Charlie says, no, I don't believe that because that wasn't the case in the 1940s. Now, I don't know if you guys believe in this. I am a firm believer in generational curses, which means 1940s is 3 to 5 generations ago. So from the 1940s, you could potentially have 3, 4, or 5 generations of fatherlessness, premarital sex, pregnancy, out of marriage. All of those generational curses could be inside of your ancestry. And that might sound crazy to some people. How could you have a generational curse? That doesn't make sense, but it does. So let's finish this out, and then we'll get on to the next video, part 2.
50s. Black America was one of the most peaceful, flourishing, fastest growing economically communities in the country. It's not genetic. You're trying to point something on me that I don't believe. Instead,
But then
Black
you do
America.
believe that it's
Hold
not
on.
genetic, so you do think CRT is correct.
Hold on a
That's
second.
kinda what I'm
In the
getting at.
1940s and 1950s, Black America was prosperous and was on pace to be richer and wealthier than white America. More dads were staying with the women that they were with. There was monogamy. What changed?
You're supporting my argument.
No, hold on. But answer the question. What changed? Did America get more racist since the 1950s?
I would argue there were more racist policies passed. There were more
Hold on a
policies
second.
dedicated to
In the
lining off those
1950s,
communities and pushing them into poor housing and poor schools.
Wait a second. In the 1950s, Jackie.
Wait a second. She might have a point. But you guys are going to have to watch part 2. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.